and welcome to our viewers from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at Gold Learning and Gold Midwifery. And I'm so excited we have a special guest here with us, and it is Bonnie Gruenberg. Welcome, Bonnie.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you back. I know it's been a little while, but it's fantastic to see you here, and so glad you could make it.
I love Gold Learning. I love attending the conferences as an attendee, and I love speaking for you.
Wonderful. And I know you have a brand new great presentation here with us at the Gold Midwifery Conference coming up. But before we get to that, I want to know a little bit about you and what you've been up to. And I know you've been super busy. You are a midwife and, in your community, very active. So tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to lately.
So I am a certified nurse midwife for 19 years now.
Oh.
I have delivered more than 2,000 babies. I caught my 2020th baby in 2020, which was kind of cool.
Wow, that is cool.
It was kind of funny when I delivered my 1,000th baby. It was on 10, 10, 10. If you multiply 10 by 10 by 10, it's 1,000. So
that's
kind of cool.
Yeah.
I am here in beautiful Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I am currently working at a community hospital where the labor and delivery floor is run by midwives with doctors as the backup. And before that, I was working at a freestanding birth center here, serving mostly Amish clients. I am working on the second edition of Birth Emergency Skills Training, which is a workshop. And also this year we launched an online workshop for Birth Emergency Skills Training.
Absolutely wonderful. First of all, I'm so glad that you mentioned that workshop. I have to tell you and about the book and the updates that you're doing. I can highly recommend this. It is, I think, one of the things that I really enjoyed learning from and took so much away from it. So to our viewers, please make sure to find Bonnie online so you can get all the information about that workshop. So Bonnie, where can we find you to find out more?
www.birthemergency.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yes. And so you transitioned basically from a birth center to a community hospital. And you are mentioning that it is midwife led and with the OBs at backup. So that is fantastic. I mean, that will be the ideal scenario for many of us here in the United States. We don't have that kind of scenario, right? The hospitals are still very much obstetric based with obstetricians and midwives kind of working alongside or under them. And so tell me how this came about. Were you involved in the development of this, model, or how did this come to pass?
We have been running a midwife-led unit for a long time. I couldn't say exactly how long, but here in Lancaster County, women pretty much demand midwives, and we can't, the hospital cannot be competitive unless they have a team of midwives. Actually, all of the hospital systems in Lancaster County are very strong in midwives. We very often accept transfers from out of hospital midwives as well. And most of us have worked both in and out of the hospital through our careers.
That is amazing. I love hearing that because sometimes there is still a little bit of this, okay, hospital, out of hospital, and a little bit of, and when it comes to a transport or transfer, there could be some friction at times, and it is so important to have like a wonderful, like a collaboration or knowing each other or working as a team together. And I know that is difficult. And it sounds like though you have figured it out there in your area.
I think we do a pretty good job. When we're very sensitive to the fact that many of these women had hoped for and expected to have out of hospital births. And many times when they're being transferred to the hospital, it's after a long, difficult labor, and they're at wit's end. They're afraid they're going to have a C-section. Sometimes they do need to have a C-section, but a lot of times we can get them an epidural and Pitocin, and if that we can accomplish a vaginal delivery. Other times generally when people come in to have babies with us, we give them a choice.
Mhm.
If they want an all natural birth, we will do intermittent monitoring, and the nurses are fantastic at they do the spinning babies
Oh, I love that.
techniques that yeah, I've seen spinning babies work miracles getting these
Yes.
babies into
Yes.
good positions,
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
birth balls and peanut balls, and
Nice.
um yeah, we
Wonderful. So it sounds like the women's and families' choices are very much respected, and
yes.
yeah, oh, wonderful. That's really great to hear. And before that, you mentioned you also worked in the Amish community. That must have been also very interesting, and also wonderful to work with that community as well.
It was such a
Mm.
privilege.
Mm-hmm.
It was I really, really enjoyed we did home births with the Amish, and we also did birth center births,
Mm-hmm.
which were usually water births.
Ooh,
And the
beautiful.
Amish women, once it gets out in the community that we have these wonderful birthing tubs at the birth center, and that we have air conditioning.
Mhm.
So usually the first few babies they'd have at home, and then they would come to the birth center
Mhm.
once they have a house full of kids, because they could get away from the other children and
Yeah.
they don't have to make a big deal of labor.
Mhm.
But there was also something very special about delivering a baby in the bed in which it was conceived.
Yes, it is. It is wonderful. I mean, that's very special for me too, knowing, being in a home birth, at a home birth, knowing this baby is here. This is the home, right? Where the
Right,
baby's going to live
right.
in the family, and it's just like, this beautiful, really sacred experience there. It's just beautiful to be able to facilitate that for the families.
And the
So.
Amish women, they have a different perception of pain than mainstream
Hmm.
Americans. That
Hmm.
I, I'll never forget the time I came to the door. This woman meets me at the door. She's got all her freshly folded laundry, and she's got a plate of cookies that she offers me. And she says, "I'm just about ready. You can check me." And she was 9. We went to the bedroom. We had a baby like 15 minutes later.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. That's absolutely amazing.
Or the time it was snowing, and
Mhm.
so the husband had to go out with a team of workhorses and a scraper
Mhm.
to scrape the
Wow.
driveway so I could leave.
Oh goodness. Wow. Well, that was very beautiful experience there. I can imagine. Wonderful.
Yes.
So let's also talk about the presentation here for our midwifery conference here at Gold. And I'm very excited because it's a brand new topic. And your title is "How do you respond to the unusual case studies of uncommon events in birth?" So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I'm an uncommon person myself, so I am drawn to the unusual.
Mhm.
And any midwife that's been practicing for any length of time has her own um, uh, bag full of stories that she pulls out at every opportunity. And some of these are my cases, some of these are my friends' cases. Some of them I found on the internet, in the literature, and they're pretty interesting. If I do my job well, then you won't have any idea what's coming.
So you hold us in suspense and
Yes, yes.
wonderful, great. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, unusual things do happen, and it's good to be prepared for that, or at least have that in the mind, when we see something unusual unfolding. So what could it be? Could it be this or that? So we're not completely caught off guard. I mean, it's always good to have information, education, right?
Well, you know how it is when a bunch of
Yeah.
midwives go out to dinner together.
Yes.
And people start looking over their shoulders. She said vagina.
I know.
And then we're making these gestures like a two-handed, you know what that gesture is, this
Yeah.
is 3, this is 5.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so yeah, so much to discover in your presentation. I'm excited about it. Can't wait. And all this is going to be live on February 15th, right?
Yes.
During the Midwifery conference. And yeah, can't wait for that. Also, I want to mention you are also a talented artist, right? This is maybe
Oh, I'm an
something not
artist.
no, everybody knows about you. And you also you paint horses, right? And I believe it's hard to see.
Wildlife.
Wildlife. Okay. Did
I
you any of the pictures you have in behind you? It's hard to see. Is that anything you painted?
Oh, yes.
Mm,
Well, I don't know how to change the video so you could see it, but
right.
yeah, I actually wrote 11 books on the wild horses of the Atlantic
Oh,
coast.
wow.
And I went out, actually, I started in the mid 90s. I started researching them. I go out with my camera. I spend a lot of time just watching their behavior. They're
Mm,
fascinating, and
mm.
I've read lots of books on horse behavior, and you see a lot of things in the wild that are not in the books. It's pretty cool.
Pretty
I draw
cool.
from my pictures. I do photography of the wild horses and wildlife in general.
Oh, beautiful. Wow. That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, Bonnie, that's all we have here for today. I know we could talk for hours here
I
and
know, huh? You put midwives together
yes, put
and
them together
there's
and
always conversation.
exactly. But so much looking forward to your presentation here with us on the 15th. And thank you so much for sitting down here with me and chatting.
Oh, thank you so much.
And a quick note for our viewers as well, the conference is going to start on February 1st. And if you would like to find out more about this presentation and all the other presentations in the conference, we invite you to visit goldmidwifery.com. And we hope to see you there. Bye, everyone.
Bye.